Verse 24. This verse is huge. If you have a pencil and you've got your Bible, circle verse 24. Since we have heard that some men have gone out from us and troubled you. Remember, here are the some men. These are the rogues. These are the liars. These who are going out saying that they're a part of the church, saying that they're representing the church, saying that they have the truth about Christ, and they're wrong, and they're liars. And they were telling people, you can't be a Christian unless you do Jesus plus. He says they were going out and they were troubling you with words. That word troubled, it's like stirring something up, like an agitator, like a washing machine, like getting into almost like a tidal situation where you're being tossed and you have no place of bearing. You can't get your feet. He said, and that's what they did. That's what they do. That's what the devil does. Tries to come and take God's truth and stir you up in a negative way to where all of a sudden now you don't know what's up, what's down, and you can't get your bearings. I say to you, friends, I've yet to see a tragic situation that didn't begin with somebody being stirred up, lied to, in some way having their base and their foundation shook, if not destroyed. And this is what's happening. The letter now going out says, hey, listen, we understand that there were some men who actually came and they undermined your confidence. They took away your understanding of the truth. They troubled you with words. And then listen to this. Unsettling your souls and mind. That word unsettling, it again comes from a military posture. It's akin to going in as a military group and sacking a city, or totally destroying and ransacking, taking over, plundering. It's a military term. It's what happens when an area has been wiped out. Again, this is warfare. The letter that you and I read in English, we don't get the fullness of this. But this is what God is saying. He's saying, listen, I know that there were some liars who came and they deceived you and they messed with the gospel. Not a whole lot, they just changed it a little. They just put a little bit of gospel plus more goodness. He says, no, listen. They not only took you off guard and got you off your center, it was as though they went into your mind, your soul, and they plundered. They were like marauders who came in and destroyed, totally bankrupt, emptied your confidence and your understanding of the truth. And I say to you, perhaps now it makes sense why Paul is so heated in Galatians. Right? Because at first we were like, Paul, lighten up, would you? No, but when we see the full context and we understand the language of what God is saying, all of a sudden now I recognize why Paul is so heated. I see the appropriateness of Galatians. I see that this is an intense truth. He said they were unsettling your souls and minds, although we gave them no instructions. The letter is saying, listen, they were not really from us. I know they misrepresented themselves. They led you to believe, if not blatantly claiming that they were from us. They were not of us. And I tell you, I get so righteously angry every time I see somebody who claims to represent Christ that is a liar, because I watch over and over and over and over again those who will follow those Pied Pipers out of the truth and the love of the gospel, out of the narrow way, and they follow them down the broad path that leads to destruction. Never, ever thinking that's the road that they're on, of course. But you see, like we see here, like Paul saw happening amongst the Galatians, oh, they're told, hey, listen, it's just as good. We're all on the same team. We all end up in the same place anyway. You just don't have to have that sold out, all in, over the top commitment that Jesus said you had to have. Unless you are willing to pick up your cross daily and follow me, you cannot be my disciples. You see, Paul's going around and he's saying things like that. They're like, Paul, see, bummer to be with him. Why don't you come to our place? Because if you'll just do a couple more rituals, you won't have to live like that. You don't have to be the church. Just come to church and do a little bit. You'll be all set. Paul says no. God says no.